First, let's go to the part with light. That will answer the question, why haven't we started doing this earlier? Because the concept of stacking plants is pretty self-explanatory. The problem with indoor farming is that you don't have natural light, and plants need light to grow, of course.
Yeah,
so
that was the first question I had when you were describing the stacks. It was like, shadows?
Yes. Most companies put lights underneath each shelf. So each row of plants gets their own light. Or the alternative is they do them vertically on sides of walls where they put lights in between them, and then both sides of the plant stacks are kind of being illuminated by one lamp standing in the middle. So that's two versions of how vertical farming is done, either horizontal rows or like columns and walls stacked vertically. But basically both variants are saving a lot of space. And the reason why we're now able to use indoor lights is because that the price of LED lights has dropped down year after year after year. A great example would be, do you remember buying Christmas lights? Like when you were a kid, they were probably super expensive, and they were like single light.
I wouldn't know.
Well,
I was a kid. I wasn't buying them.
Yeah, you just got them. But basically, if you even remember how they looked, there was like one light, and there was like a cord, and then another light here, and then every like 10 centimeters you would have another light. So you couldn't have a lot of bulbs in one place at the same time because they were expensive, and they would break easily.
Fast and also they heat up and
heat up.
Too many of them together, yeah.
So fast forward a few years later, LED technology gets super advanced. So we have a lot more lights in a smaller place. It's a lot easier to produce them. Their effectiveness rate has gone up 85%. And they're basically a lot cheaper because mass manufacturing, mass production. So
and the technology is continually improving as well. I mean, the light spectrum that comes off a white LED now is much more complete than it was on white LEDs like 10 years ago. You run that through a spectral analysis, and there's like spikes from the old ones, and the new ones are just a complete wave.
Yes. Also, their shelf life, no, not shelf life, along the
operational life.
Operational life has gone up by a few years. So that's amazing. And basically the research around light and photons is also moving forward. So our understanding of light in general is also going up, and we better know which photons are for what and how to kind of use it concentrated, everything from lasers to normal LED lights that we have. Our understanding is better, and that's why we can create better lights for what we need on a day-to-day basis. That's also.
So when you say what photons are for what, do you mean like in terms of what the plant needs, or just in general?
That was my next point, actually. Not all plants need all the photons in the light spectrum. So when you look at light, it's basically a rainbow of different colors, of millions of different ones. And the human eye can't see all of them. Plants don't need all of them. So if we create a light bulb that creates all specters of light, we basically don't need it. So what they do with LED lights, they narrow it down to a certain portion of light that is emitted, and they use that in vertical farming to stimulate growth. And they can even manipulate like crispiness of the plant, or for example, they can manipulate the taste of a certain plant by adding more blue light or red light, which are the most two common types of light that they use to grow indoor farming. They use white light, of course, but during the night period, because plants need their nighttime resting period, they basically turn on the blue and red light to kind of stimulate either flavor or crispiness, or if a plant is going really, really slow, then they would stimulate speed of growth. So with
it's almost like a remote control for the growth of the plant.
Exactly. So with our understanding of light, how it works, we can influence farming and basically increase productivity in farming by a lot. I wanted to talk about yield here for a second, because what some of the companies report here for yield is amazing. The lowest number that I could find for a vertical farm company was 50x of the yield from produce on a square foot.
Compared to traditional farms.
Compared to traditional farms, yes.
Wow.
So that's the smallest number I could find, and I looked into a few companies there. The highest number, the highest number that I could find is 400x. So 400 times more yield on a square foot per vegetable. So it doesn't apply to all vegetables, but for simple vegetables that are easy to farm, like lettuce, spinach, and kale, you would have up to 400%, 400 times, not percent, more yield through a year-on basis. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see the full version, go to the Uncle Gold Podcast YouTube channel or watch the next clip.